What if I told you this was the last Monday morning of your life? What if I told you you died this week? Would you complain about your job or that test you don't want to take? I doubt it. I just don't get the mentality of being head down sad on a Monday morning. Take a step back. Recognize that you can attack the world in a totally different way and think about how awesome it actually is. I heard somebody tell me, I'm not a morning person. What kind of foolishness is that? You're not a what? What does that mean exactly? You're not a morning person. If I've got to get up early in the morning and get the money, I'm a morning person. What matters is just being present for the thing. If you're doing something that you want to do and you're fully there for it, that's the only thing that matters. What's happening in front of you literally has all the meaning in the world. Make the best of it. We can be the happiest and the most grateful we've ever been while we are going through the most difficult, painful, scary time in our lives. You're going, this sucks, but I'm going to make the best of it. How do you start your day? Now, for real, I really want you to think about that. How do you start your day? Because here's what I believe. If you start your day right, you can end your day right. Once you leave your beautiful house, the war starts. So in the morning time, what I'm doing is I'm building my armor. It gets broken every night. I build the armor because now I know there's going to be some disappointments along the way every day. That's life. If you wake up in the morning and you're breathing and you're standing in front of that mirror and you have survived the stuff you have survived and you are still waking up and trying to do better, that's a win. What's your morning routine like? Because your journey to greatness all starts with the first decision you make in the daylight. If I get up early, if I have time to myself to have a little routine, I've almost got this resilient bubble around me. For me, redefining what a perfect day is and living as many of those days in a row as I possibly can, to me, that's winning. The greatest gift you have as a human is choice. You control whether you get up and drive forward or not. Do you wake up in the morning and love your life? Take the time to enjoy taking deep breaths and looking at sunrises and seeing the beauty of life all around you and go, oh, life can be really beautiful. It can be really good. Don't just aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference. As I said, I'm a positive person. I think that you have to take what you're given and do something with it. The easiest thing to do is complain about it and give in to that. But I try to turn that into something positive, and so far it's worked for me. It would be easy to sit here and say, oh yeah, there's a lot of prejudice, there's a lot of racism. Well, that's a given. I try to be a positive person and figure out a way I can do better, not give in to it. Small minds discuss other people, gossip. Good minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas. At 66, getting ready to be 67, having just buried my mother, I made a promise to her and to God, not just to do good the right way, but to honor my mother and my father by the way I live my life the rest of my days on this earth. I'm here to serve, to help, to provide. When I was young and starting to really make it as an actor, I came in and talked to my mother. I said, Ma, did you think that this was going to happen? That I'd be so big and I'd be able to take care of everybody and I can do this and I can do that? She said, boy, stop it right there. Stop it right there. She said, if you only knew how many people have been praying for you, how many prayer groups she put together, how many prayer cloths she gave me, how many times she splashed me with holy water. And she said, oh, you did it by yourself? I tell you what you can do by yourself. You can go outside, get a mop and bucket and wash them windows. You can do that by yourself, superstar.
Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that it's a gift. What are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you have money. Some of you have patience. Some of you have kindness. Some of you have love. Some of you have the gift of long suffering. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, we all have different talents. Some of you will be doctors, some lawyers, some scientists, some educators, some nurses. It's what you do with what you have. True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand, already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back, pull someone else up. You only live once, so do what you feel passionate about. You've got to get out there. You've got to give it everything you've got, whether it's your time, your talent, or your treasures. The world needs your talents, man. Does it ever? Your life will never be a straight path. I was 20 years old. I was at my lowest point. And then one day, and I remember the exact day, March 27th, 1975, I was helping my mother in her beauty shop. My mother owned a beauty shop up in Mount Vernon. There was this older woman. I didn't know her personally, but every time I looked in the mirror, I could see her behind me, and she was staring at me. She just kept looking at me. Every time I looked at her, she kept giving me these strange looks. So she finally took the dryer off her head and said something I'll never forget. She said, "Young boy, I have a prophecy, a spiritual prophecy." She said, "You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." Now, mind you, I'm 20 years old. I'm flunked out of school. In fact, like a wise ass, I'm thinking to myself, maybe she's got something in that crystal ball about me getting back into school next fall. But maybe she was onto something, because later that summer, while working as a counselor at the YMCA camp in Connecticut, we put on a talent show for the campers. And after the show, another counselor came up to me and asked, "Have you ever thought about acting? You're good at that." And in the years that followed, just as that woman prophesied, I have traveled the world and I have spoken to millions of people through my movies. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, 9 dots. You had to draw 5 lines, actually 4, with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals, life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day, sometimes just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. Remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. You'll see what I mean about taking risks or being willing to fail, because taking risks is not just about going for a job. It's also about knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's about being open to people and to ideas. And I can't think of a better message as we send you off today to not only take risks, but to be open to life, to accept new views, and to be open to new opinions. Because the chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you. So members of the class of 2011, this is your mission. Never be discouraged, never hold back, give everything you've got. And when you fall throughout life, remember this: fall forward. I've found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball, but you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that, because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school, applying to college, picking your major, deciding what you want to do with life, people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything except my faith. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Keep striving. Never give up. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. Without commitment, you'll never start. Without consistency, you'll never finish. What are you going to do with what you have? Those who can, do. Those who can't, talk about those who can. What an opportunity we have, because tomorrow is the first day of the rest of our lives. You're not going to change anybody else until you change you. Everything really does begin with you. I found a lot of people are that way. They've got an awful lot underneath the surface, but until they bring it out and take it to the marketplace, they will never realize even a minute fraction of the benefits that they could bring to themselves, their families, their friends, their community, and everyone else. When you know within yourself that there's something you want to do, and I believe that all of us were born with a purpose, that all of us have some goodness within us, and that goodness gives us a responsibility to manifest our greatness. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, but it's necessary. It's necessary that you go for what is yours in the universe.
What is it that I must become in order to manifest the vision that's beginning to articulate itself through me right now? What must I become? Where must I grow in my own life in order to be a vehicle for this transcendent vision that wants to express through me right now? There is a sacred law. You can't really have in your life what you're not willing to become vibrationally. What must I become? Where must I grow? Some people need to grow in becoming more loving or more self-loving. Where must I grow? Who do you need to become to start the business, to move into the new location, to start traveling, to make new friends, to take up new hobbies and new investments and endeavors, to impact? Who are you going to have to become to build that philanthropic portfolio? To serve in areas you've never served, to see and to sow in places you've never been. Your destiny is linked to your identity. Your perseverance is not even about you. The future, the next generation legacy, destiny, it's attached to this. It is only then that you will be able to manifest and become who you were destined to be. The hardest part of making millions of dollars and being successful in business is becoming the person who is able to do the thing. That's the hardest part. The hardest part is not doing the things that'll make you $1 million. That's not the hardest part. The hardest part is you becoming the person who has enough intestinal fortitude and grit to go down into the laboratory, the cave, the drawing board, whatever you want to call it, and obsess over this problem long enough to find an elegant, effortless, effective solution. That's the part most people don't have. They don't have enough stick-to-itiveness. They don't have enough grit to last through the learning curve to become the person who can do the thing that makes them deserve to have this stuff. Even if you take a tree growing in a garden, you plant the seed in the ground. In order for the seed to become a tree, the first thing it must do is exactly the same as the first thing we must do when we're getting ready to go through our transformation. What is that? It must be willing to cease to be a seed. Unless I'm willing to cease being what I've always been, I can never become whatever I have the potential to become. If I were to give people one single tool that would help them improve their lives, I would invite them to embrace the awareness and to use as a tool their consciousness that your life is not about you. It's about everyone else's life you touch and the way in which you touch it. Everything that you hope to manifest in your life and all the good things in life come to you automatically with almost no trying when you touch everyone else's life in a way that allows them to begin to experience who they are. I came to realize that it's not about me. The experience is yours, but the experience that people take from the content, you will never own. I will never know how much what I do affects people or doesn't. I'm not responsible for what happens with what is created once it's out in the world. The reason I was there was not to have a personal experience. The reason I was there was to make a film that could potentially shed light on an issue or teach something to people. People come to the work for all kinds of reasons, and I don't really care, but by the time they start doing the work, all they really want to do is give. Because when you feel so amazing and feel so great about yourself, you no longer want anything. The first thing you want to do is give. It's not like, oh, I've got to go create my life today. You're like, I've got to go because I don't want the magic to stop. So people start coming for money or health or a relationship, but it's not about your money. It's not about your health. It's not about your new relationship. It's not even about the mystical moment. It's about who you become in the process. Because overcoming all those limitations to become somebody else, nobody can take that away from you. Your matters are the peace of the world. You are beyond yourself. You're greater than yourself. Who you are today is just a point of reference. Don't you ever confuse your potential with who you are right now. You need to get to where you're supposed to be. I remember at our high school, the bell would ring and the principal would come into the hallway. He'd yell, "Hey, hey, where are you supposed to be, sir?" So can I ask you a question? Where are you supposed to be? Based on your dreams, based on your goals, based on your vision, where are you supposed to be? Your next level requires you to transform. I need you to be honest with yourself and ask, where am I? What do I know and what don't I know? And how much more do I need to know to get to where I'm trying to go? What abilities do I have? What abilities don't I have? What skills don't I have? If I don't acquire those skills, it's going to keep me stuck where I am. What information do I have? What information don't I have? And what information do I need to get to where I'm trying to go? If you've decided, I can't because I was unlucky, my mom this, my dad this, my country this, my gender that, my income level this, well then it's over. Doesn't matter what I think, you think, anyone else thinks, it's over. I just refuse to talk to another human being and believe that to be true, because there have been billions of examples of the alternative. There's a reason that people who were deeply alcoholic have been able to be sober the rest of their lives after going through a process. There's a reason therapy is profound. There's a reason meditation is profound. There's a reason exercise is profound. If one person that lived that cliché life has gone on to be an incredibly productive person, it now means it's capable and true. And understand, anything you can see on the screen of your mind, you can manifest in your material world. When you are struggling and when you encounter obstacles, because I guarantee you will, and you start thinking about giving up, I want you to remember something that has carried us through every moment of our lives, and that is the power of hope. The belief that something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it. There's this gap between cynicism and hope. I believe both are choice. Hope is a choice. And for me, it was the hardest choice, because I was the guy who was cynical when I graduated college. I was 23 years old, $40,000 in consumer debt, and I was angry at the world. I was like, I followed this path, I got good grades, I got the degree, where's my wonderful life? Cynicism becomes the easier choice. So I think it starts with, do not be cynical, because life is so much better and richer when you choose hope. Even though it's the hard thing to do, it's the stupid, cheesy thing to do, you're drinking your own poison when you walk around cynical toward the world. Hope is a choice. Cynicism is a choice. I hope you choose hope. Because when you're stuck and when you are on a downward spiral, whether it's just in your own head or it's in self-destructive behavior, the thing that's missing in your life is hope. What matters is, do we have that vision of hope? Do we see a possible future for us to step into that will make our lives better? What's going on in the material world is not the point. It's a side effect. For you to have any vision of hope in the future, you need to decide that something is more valuable than what you have today. If I have learned anything in my time traveling this world, it is the power of hope. The power of one person, a Washington, a Lincoln, King,
Mandela: one person can change the world by giving people hope. When you give up hope, you stop dreaming, my friend. You stop believing. Don't you ever lose hope. Don't you ever give up your mindset. It ain't gonna be easy. Most of the time, you're gonna feel like there's no way out, that you can't do it, but listen to me when I say there is always hope. You've got to stare all that in the face and say, you can't beat me. I'm too strong. If you don't have belief, if you don't have hope, if you don't have faith, you ain't got nothing. You hear what I'm telling you? Love and hope and optimism is hard. Fear and negativity and cynicism is easy and lazy. You see, you don't have to accept everything that has been handed to you. You can create the lifestyle you want. You can create the business you want, the friendships you want. It's all up to you. So there is no need for you to feel hopeless. You've got to get out of despair. And it's not the end until you've given up. And just the fact that you're here should persuade you that you have another chance to get back up. There's still hope. What happens when I decide for myself that I'm going to do something different? Because nothing changes if nothing changes. Lots of people will spend a lifetime doing the right things, trying to journal, pray, develop a morning routine, focus on positive thinking, go to the right seminars, put themselves in the right rooms, and they can't seem to maintain that elevated emotional state because their physiology is dragging them back down into the state where they most comfortably exist. Rather than learn to cope